Welcome back. And this was kind of a special thing that I decided to do instead of adding it to the past video that we had. So this is going to be a video of itself. Basically, it's really cool. An article was written about this racing driver, Juju Noda. Kind of broke down that article, gave the article credit to the person who wrote it and everything, and it was just very cool. Hopefully you all enjoy it, because highlight of this driver from a P9 finish at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Enjoy. Which, again, 9th place Juju Noda. What a finish for her. Climbing up from 13th on back. Avoiding everything that definitely came her way, because when you're in 13th, no matter what racing series, no matter what it is, you're going to be back with, outside that top 10, you're going to be back with a lot of drivers that are trying to fight to get points. Therefore, they're going to be more aggressive than if you were to be in 8th or 7th place. Yes, they're going to still be aggressive, but I think you're going to find more aggression in the back of the field than the front of the field, because they're trying to move forward during the race. So Juju Noda starting outside that top 10, being able to move forward and finish in 9th place was a humongous win for her, building her confidence up, being able to go to Singapore. That's going to be her closest home race per se, because she is from Japan. So pretty interesting right there. And getting it and just doing it with her talent, with her skill, from all of her F4 training that she's done, all of her F4 racing, all of her even F3 training that she's had from the WSeries. It's very, very impressive. So again, we move on. We go to what we were going to get to here, which is in focus. Juju Noda, which this was posted by It's All Sport Tome.co.uk, and this was posted by Alia Anjorin. Posted today, by the way. So this will give you a more inside look into Juju Noda. At only 16 years old, Juju Noda is the youngest driver to ever compete in the WSeries. Juju Noda joins the series after a 2-year stint in Danish F4, where she took her first win in her debut race, before going on to achieve 2 more race wins, 5 pole positions, and 12 podium finishes. That all by itself is insane. Right out of karting, she won in her debut race. Then goes on to have 5 pole positions and 2 more race wins. Here's what she had to say. I grew up a lot in Danish F4, Noda admits. I learned a lot about the car and setups, which improved my knowledge a lot. Improving her racing expertise and experience will be essential to Noda getting the most out of her WSeries stint as she joins the champion. Well, that was weird. As she joins the championship as a rookie, full of untapped potential, which is ready to be explored and cultivated. Noda is aiming to reduce her experience deficit to the rest of the grid by competing in the Drexler Formal Cup during the breaks in the WSeries calendar. But she also believes that she can learn a lot just by observing the other drivers on the grid. So right off the start, putting a tie out. Well, guess what? We're heading into the summer break right now. What is Juju Noda doing? That's not a break for her. She's going straight into doing other racing events. the Drexler Formal Cup. I'll have to look that up definitely because I don't know anything about that cup. But all we know is she's racing. She is racing in that series. But we continue on. Most of the drivers have more experience than me, said Noda. And some have a lot more experience than me. And only having half an hour to practice makes it very difficult for me to figure out how to drive fast around the circuit. So being able to look at their data and how they drive, it helps me a lot in a way. Competing with them is a great way to learn. So yeah, we go back to WSeries and what they've been able to create. This family environment. This thing where it's giving drivers the ability to learn from their opponents. What are they doing? What is this, as much as setups are concerned, just about, they're giving all the data out right in front of them. Where is this driver braking? Can I do that same thing? Watching them on the racetrack, watching film from her, watching film from just different things. It's given to them almost on a silver platter, but it's so cool because that's only helping their knowledge, their racing expertise, and just building it for a better future for these racers. It's so impressive. I'm already enjoying reading this so much because it's showing that Noda is already learning so much. And if she's scoring points this early, what's going to happen when she goes I almost said Sebring or Silverstone. But no. What's going to happen when she goes to Singapore? What's going to happen when she goes to Dakota? What's going to happen when she goes to the doubleheader in Mexico? How much more will she have improved by that time? Because drivers might be taking their break. She is still 16. But who knows? She could be watching film, learning more about this because, it's passion. When you live, breathe and breathe motorsports. And that's all you want to cover. That's all you want to, do. Literally the ceiling can't hold you. And that sounds like that's what Juju is doing. Forget maybe having Jamie Chadwick in F1 one day. This is your driver that's going to compete for maybe even a world championship. But it also helps that she's got, a father that has been there before. So he knows what it takes. So he's helping his kid have that chance. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But what do they continue to say about this? Noda was initially approached about joining WSeries 3 years ago, she reveals, but had to wait until she was older for discussions to happen in earnest. Noda and her teammate, 17-year-old Bianca Bustamante, will be racing for the WSeries Academy team, a race seat which, among other things, guarantees Noda a seat in the series for the next 2 seasons. So I believe this season and next year. I'm very honored to be a part of the grid this season, even though I know it's going to be tough, she admits, but for now I'm trying to enjoy driving on an F1 racetrack and learn things from all the drivers. Really cool. It has been a slow start to the championship for Noda, who currently is at 17th in the driver standings, and until Hungary was one of only two drivers not to have scored points yet this season. A lack of track time experience and restrictive setups have all contributed to this, Noda explains. I don't really know any of the racetracks in WSeries, so I only have half an hour's worth of practice, and then going straight into qualifying is pretty tough for me. While being added to the F1 support bill on race weekends has generated massive exposure for the series, it has come at the expense of track time, with WSeries having to drop their second free practice session to fit in with the limited track time constraints, which places drivers with less experience of the tracks at an immediate disadvantage. To ensure that drivers' skills are always at the forefront of the sport, all cars in WSeries are owned by the series itself and are mechanically identical to each other, with teams existing primarily for sponsorship and organizational purposes, reducing the scope for a driver to drastically change how their car is set up. It's different to when you race in an individual team, Noda explains. When you are a part of an individual team, they focus on the car to make you competitive. But WSeries is different, so you can't focus solely on the car. So sometimes you have to give up the way you want to do it, drive the car, which is something I need to get used to. Despite this, Noda remains calm since I have the option in my contract to race for 2 seasons. I'm more focused on the learning side of things this year. Learning more things about the tracks, the car, and how to drive it. I am not under pressure to get the best result possible. And that's really the best way to put it, especially in my eyes. As well as her on-track motivations, Noda has more personal reasons behind her excitement at racing in front of a home crowd. My grandpa was unwell, but he is recovering now, and he is looking forward to coming to watch my race at Suzuka. So I'd like to race my best in front of him. That's upsetting. For Noda, this season is all about taking small steps forward, closing the gap to those ahead of her, and becoming more competitive. To be as competitive as other more experienced WSeries drivers, that's my goal for this season, she explains. And with that result next season, I can aim to win the championship. Throughout her career, Juju Noda has been lauded as a racing prodigy compared to the likes of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen and Jamie Chadwick. And now, under the lights of WSeries, she has the opportunity to prove herself worthy of the title. I cannot wait to see her make her mark on the series and on motorsport as a whole. Well, one thing, of course, that they did not mention, which of course this interview was probably done way before the announcement was made, WSeries once again goes to Singapore. They will go to Singapore instead of Japan. due to logistical issues. Unfortunately for Juju Noda, she will not have a true home race in her country, which is something that even I myself was looking forward to. It would have been very interesting for them to have been able to race there due to how long this track is, how technical the track is, with the flowing corners of Spoon, the backstretch, and even the chicane right before the front stretch. So definitely upsetting to see that race kind of went, but very exciting to see what happens in Singapore. But that's, I wanted to read this article, break it down, see if I didn't know anything about this, and sure enough, picked up a couple of things. Like this break, for example, 63 days until Singapore, so you take out that week before the race, and really shows Juju Noda's not going to be taking a break for that long. She's going straight into racing into another series to try and better herself, prepare herself more for the last races, see if she can stay focused. And I think a lot of these drivers will be doing that. They'll be taking some time off for sure. But I don't expect them to take so much time. I expect it to be maybe 2 weeks off. 2-3 weeks off at maximum. Before they go and they focus, they grind on just racing and racing only. Working out, just getting ready for everything. So yeah. Excited for it. Can't wait for the next race, but we're going to have to. So, real quick before I kind of end this, my plan is to get as many drivers as possible to try, drivers, just anybody as possible to be able to interview, whether it's from the WSeries or just from motorsports in general as this break happens, especially in the open wheel side of things, in the FIA open wheel side of things too, since everybody takes a break like this. I'm very excited for it. We'll see who we can get. Try to get Abby Pulling, Naomi Schiff, break down her career, how she got up to her point. That would be a very fun interview, as well as just, Abby Pulling, same deal, where she's at this point. And then we'll see who else we can get along the likes of just any sort of racing driver. So if you'd like to see a racing driver or like to see me interview a racing driver, feel free to type up who you would want to see in the comments. If you've gotten this far as well, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you like what you're seeing, as well as hit that like button. Always helps me out. And, thank you all so very much for watching. I will see you all next time. Adios.